Hello everyone, it's Odiri again, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make a pant, what some people call a trouser. And what I'm doing right now is just creating a border at the top of my paper and measuring my actual trouser length with some extra allowance. And I'm just going to trim off my excess paper that I do not need. Then I measured horizontally to get the middle of my paper and drew a straight line across it, or a vertical line. The next thing I did was to mark my border points as 0.0. So all my measurements will be starting from top to bottom. So at the top, I marked it 0.0 and I got my crouch depth line, or what some people call body rise. So 0.0 to 0.1 is crouch depth line, and to get your crouch depth line you have to sit on a flat surface and measure from your high waist to that flat surface. Then the next thing I did was to get my waist to hip line, and to get your waist to hip line you divide your hip by 4 and minus 2 centimeters. I actually like working with cm because it's almost like 100% accurate and it's easy to like approximate. So after I got my waist to hip line, the next thing I did was to draw a horizontal line across it. Then I connected it to my 0.3. My 0 to 0.3 is my actual trouser length. So you measure from 0.0 to 0.3 as a straight line. That's my actual trouser length. Then to get 0.4, I measured from 0.1 to 0.3. That's how I got my 0.4. So I divided 0.1 to 0.3 by 2, then I subtracted 5 cm. So that 0.4 is going to give me my knee line. So that's just basically what I am doing now. So I drew a horizontal line across it and marked it 0.4. To get 0.1 to 5, you have to divide your hip measurement by 12 plus 1.5 cm. So you square that measurement, like you mark that measurement on your hip line to get 0.6, and you mark it on your waistline to get 0.7, and you draw a vertical line across it. 0.6 to 8 is hip measurement divided by 4 plus 0.5. So you mark where that measurement is as 0.8. Then the next measurement is 0.5 to 9. 0.5 to 9 is the hip measurement divided by 16 plus 0.5. So you mark that as 0.9. The next measurement we need to do now is at the waist. So you mark from 0.7 to 0.10, 1 cm away. So from 0.7 to 0.10 is just 1 cm away. Then you connect from 0.10 to join with 0.6. And later on we'll be using a curve to join with 0.9. Now that we are done, the next measurement is for the waist. So you divide the waist by 4 plus 2.25 cm. That's your actual waist. You divide it by 4 and add 2.25 cm. And this measurement should begin from where 0.10 is. So this would now be 0.11. Now I'm just connecting with my hip curve from 0.11 to 0.8. And I'm using broken lines because I'm going to be drafting my back pattern on this same paper. So this broken line will help me know that it is my front pattern that I just drafted. So to connect the curve line, to connect 0.6 to 9, we'll have to put our set square at angle 90. And I'm just using a broken ruler to mark it up. The measurement I'll be needing is 3 cm from 0.5, but if you are like size 14, size 16 to 26, you can use between 3.25 cm to 3.5 cm. So now I'm just using my pattern master to connect my curve from 0.9 to 0.6. And I'm creating a dot. Remember that we added 2.25 cm on our waist, and that was to help us accommodate the dot. So I'm just marking 1 cm to the left and 1 cm to the right, and the length of this dot is 10 cm. So I'll just be connecting it back to the waist by using broken lines. To get 0.12, which is going to be our ankle or leg entry, we have to divide our trouser bottom by 4. So when I divided mine by 4, I got 12 cm to the left and 12 cm to the right. So 12 cm to the left is where my 0.12 is, while 12 cm to the right is where my 0.14 is. That's because I've not done 0.13. My 0.13 is on my knee line. So to get 0.13 is the same measurement I used as my 0.12, just that I added 1.3 cm. So if you're size 16 to 20, you can use 1.5 cm. If you're like size 22 to 24, you can use 1.7 cm. But what I'm trying to say is that whatever measurement you used as your 0.12 and as your 0.14, which is at the hem or ankle of your trouser, just add an extra 1.3 or 1.5 or 1.7 as it applies to you on your knee line. Then you connect the line using broken lines. So I'm just connecting with a straight line, and I'm connecting with my hip curve. So 0.15 is also on the knee line, which is going to be to the left of the paper. 0.13 is on the right, while 0.15 is on the left. So I just connected from 0.9 to 0.15 and from 0.15 to 0.14. So you can see the extra allowance I have at the bottom. That was deliberate. I actually didn't want the hem of my trouser to be fitted or short, and I also wanted it to like fully cover the sole of my heels. I didn't want my shoe showing at all. So I added about 4 inches extra, which is that big rectangular block you can see at the bottom. Then on my knee line, I went up with 12 inches, but you can do as you choose. I really didn't want the trouser to be like completely fitted. I wanted it to be slightly loosed around my thigh, so I went up by 13 inches. You can do more. Then I connected it back to the extra allowance I left at the hem of my trouser. So as soon as I was done drafting the front pattern of the trouser, I started drafting the back. So from 0.5 to 16 is the measurement of 0.1 to 5 divided by 4. Then I squared it up to 0.17, which is on the hip line, and 0.18 on the waistline. Then I drew a straight line from top to bottom. That's a vertical line across it, just to connect it. So that's 0.16, and this is 0.17, and this is 0.18. So 0.16 to 0.19 is the measurement of 0.16 to 0.18 divided by 2. So just divide 0.16 to 0.18 by 2 to get 0.19. That's just the middle, the midpoint of it. Then 0.18 to 0.20 is 2 cm apart, or 2 cm away. Any one of it works. So that is 0.20. So from 0.20 to 0.21 is 2 cm above it. Now we're going to be connecting the line. This time we won't be using broken line because we're drafting the back. So you connect with a slanted line. From 0.21 to 20 and to 19. Then now we're going to measure from 0.21 to get 0.22. So you're going to divide your waist measurement by 4 plus 4.25 cm. So this will give us 0.22. Then connect with a slanted line. The next measurement is going to be from 0.9 to 23, which is the measurement of 0.5 to 9. So measure 0.5 to 9 and divide it by 2. Whatever you get will be where you mark 0.23. From 0.23, we'll go down or go below by 0.5 cm to get 0.24. So just below 0.23 is 0.24, and the difference between the both of them is 0.5 cm. So you put your set square at angle 90 at 0.16. Then you get a broken line, and you measure. For myself, I measured 4.25 cm, but if you are size 16 above to size 20, you can measure 4.5 cm to 4.75 cm for like size 22 and size 26. Then I connected with a curve from 0.24. was at the time of editing the video that I realized I didn't record this part that I highlighted with bold numbers. So from point 25 to get point 25, what you need to do is to divide your hip measurement by 4 plus 1.5 cm. So you measure from point 17 by dividing your hip measurement by 4 plus 1.5 cm. That will give you point 25. To get point 26, measure 1 cm from point 12. To get point 27, measure 1 cm from point 13. Then to get point 28, measure 1 cm from point 14. To get point 29, measure 1 cm from point 15. This is what it should look like by the time you are done. So you just connect the lines. So I'm just connecting the line from point 32 to point 25. Point 22 is my waist and point 25 is my hip line. Then I'll connect from there to my knee and the hem. I'll do the same thing from point 24. I'll connect to point 29. And from point 29, I'll connect to point 28. From the knee line, I went upward by 12 cm. That was the same thing I did with the front trouser block when I was drafting. So on the side of the trouser, I also went up by 12 cm. Then I'll be connecting with straight line to the hem of my block. At the hem, I marked 15.3 cm to the left and 15.3 cm to the right, which is about 6 inches to the left and 6 inches to the right. In inches, that will be 12 inches, while in cm, that will be 30.5 cm. Then I connected all my lines together. I'm just connecting my lines together, as you can see. After connecting my lines together, I wrote back on the lines that indicate back pattern and front on the lines that indicate front pattern. That way, it will enable me know which lines are for front and which lines are for back when I'm tracing on a fresh sheet of paper with my tracing wheel. So the next thing I did was to mark my dart, and to get my dart area, I divided my waist. I divided from line 21 to 22 into 3 equal parts. So the first part, I marked it point 30, and the second part, I marked it point 31. On point 30, I drew a line that is 12 cm long, and I measured 1 cm to the left and 1 cm to the right. While on point 31, I drew a dart that is 10 cm long, and I measured 1 cm to the left and 1 cm to the right. Then I connected it back to give that shape. That's that V-like shape that you can see as I'm doing right now. In another video, I'm going to be showing you how I transferred this pattern to another paper and how I was also able to separate the front pattern from the back pattern and transfer this pattern to my fabric for cutting. Right now, I'm just trying to indicate what each line stands for. So the broken line will serve as the front, while the block line will serve as the back. This will make it easier for me to know what I'm tracing out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to like, do not forget to share, and have a wonderful pattern drafting experience.